Hey guys, I'm Nisa Homey. Today I'm sharing Bajra Dosa made without rice. An ideal meal for those with health issues like PCOS and diabetes, or for those who simply wants to include millets in their lifestyle. Bajra is also known as pearl millet. So without wasting much time, let's get started with the recipe. To make Bajra Dosa, into a bowl I'm adding in half cup of Bajra, also known as pearl millet. Bajra is a highly nutritious millet. It is rich in proteins, fiber, antioxidants. Recent studies shows that Bajra has anti-cancer and anti-tumor properties. So into the bowl I'm adding in half cup of whole Bajra. Next I'm adding in half cup mung dal. This is yellow mung dal. 1/3 cup urad dal. 1 teaspoon methi seeds, also known as fenugreek seeds. Add in some water and wash and rinse this a couple of times. I'm using organic bajra, which may contain sand or dirt or dust particles, so you need to wash and rinse it thoroughly. Once washed and rinsed thoroughly, add in some more water and let it soak for about 6 to 7 hours. Millets need to be soaked for at least 6 hours, so a minimum of 6 hours of soaking is ideal. It's 6 hours since the bajra and the dals have been soaking. So I'm going to wash and rinse it a couple of times and then I'm going to add it into my blender jar. Like I mentioned before, it is ideal to soak millets for at least a minimum of 6 hours. The reason why you need to soak grains like millets is to release the phytic acid content in them. Phytates are nutrient inhibitors and prevent absorption of nutrients and also may cause digestive issues like bloating to some people. So it's always ideal to soak grains like millets before cooking so that the phytates can be released. So now I'm going to wash and rinse it a couple of times and then I'm going to add it into my blender jar. Into this I'm adding in 1 cup of water. Add in pink Himalayan salt as needed. And I'm going to blend all this until everything is nicely mixed and combined. Pour the blended batter into a bowl. And now with your hand, stir the batter a couple of times. This will help with the fermentation process. You can also see that the ingredients are nicely blended. The bajra has blended really well. That is also because of soaking for a minimum of 6 hours. And now I'm going to cover it with a lid and allow it to ferment overnight or for at least about 7 to 8 hours. Fermentation times depends upon the temperature of the place you are living in. Also note that I'm not covering the lid tightly as we need the wild airborne yeast to help with the fermentation process. So do not cover the lid tightly. And the next day morning, that is after about 8 to 9 hours, let's check on the dosha batter. And as you can see, I have not closed the lid tightly. I have just placed the lid over the bowl. So this is very important as we need the wild airborne yeast to help with the fermentation process. And remember, I did not use any rice when I was grinding the batter. So let's see how well the batter has fermented. You can see that the batter has risen and it has fermented well. So I'm going to show you how well the batter has fermented. It's nicely fermented. It is airy and thick. And with this batter you can also make soft spongy idlis. But today I'm just going to show you how to make crispy bajra dosa with this batter. And the best thing about this batter is that you can store it in the refrigerator and it will keep good for a couple of days. You can see that the batter is bubbly and spongy. It's a perfect fermented dosha batter. Also, fermented foods are an abundant supply of vitamin B12. So try to include fermented foods in your diet, and the easy way to do that is in the form of dosha and idli. Next I'm going to make a chutney to have it with bajra dosa. So I'm going to keep it aside. To make the chutney, I'm using some salted amlas. Amla is also known as Indian gooseberry. It is one of the richest source of vitamin C. So what I did was I just chopped the amlas and added some pink Himalayan salt and organic vinegar. I used apple cider vinegar, and I think it is about 4 or 5 days since I kept this in salt and vinegar, and as you can see that it has not gone bad, no mold or any fungus formation in this. So when I made this, I had posted it on my Insta stories, and I saw many messages asking what proportion I added the salt and vinegar. I just eyeballed it, and I usually do keep it like this, and it does taste good for a longer period. When you do like this, you don't have to make a pickle immediately. You can make pickle as and when time permits. And my family has also been snacking on this on and off, especially my son. I'm adding in some amlas. And also some juice of the amla. Into this I'm adding in 2 to 3 shallots. I prefer to use shallots in my recipes as they are a good source of iron and folate. 2 green chilies or as per your taste. Half cup grated coconut. A handful of organic garden fresh coriander leaves. And some water, about 1/4 cup. Pink Himalayan salt as needed. Remember, there is salt in the amlas, so add salt accordingly. And I'm going to grind this to a fine chutney. And the chutney is nicely ground. I'm going to transfer to a bowl. I don't prefer to heat the chutney. I just give a tadka. And to this I'm adding in another 1/4 cup water or as needed. And I'm washing down the residue coconut into the bowl. And give it a stir. So this is the consistency I prefer. If you prefer a thinner consistency, you can add water accordingly. So now let's give a tadka to this. I'm heating 1 teaspoon wood pressed coconut oil. Once the oil is heated, I'm adding in ½ teaspoon mustard seeds. And once the mustard seed starts to splutter, I'm adding in 3 shallots sliced, 2 whole red chilies which I'm breaking into 2 and adding in, a sprig of fresh curry leaves which I'm tearing and adding in so that the flavors are released. And give it a stir and allow the shallots to get light golden brown in color. Pour the tadka over the coconut chutney, and my healthy coconut chutney is ready to serve. So the addition of amla actually made this coconut chutney more nutrient dense. These are the small ways in which you can make your meals more nutrient dense. To make the Bajra Dosa, heat a cast iron tawa and grease it with wood pressed gingerly oil, also known as sesame oil. And once the tawa is heated, add in 1 to 1½ ladleful of the Bajra Dosa batter and spread it out as thinly as possible. Drizzle in a little bit of desi ghee or any healthy fats like wood pressed oils. Healthy fats will help to assimilate the fat soluble vitamins in bajra. So do not skip using a good source of healthy fat when you are making Bajra Dosa. Fat soluble vitamins like vitamin A, K, E and D needs a good source of healthy fat for better assimilation. I had transferred the batter into another bowl. I just wanted to show you clearly how well the batter has fermented. I hope you can see the bubbles in the batter. So that shows the batter has fermented really well. And remember, I did not use any rice in this batter. So the trick to ferment it without adding rice lies in mixing the batter with hand. So when you mix the batter with hand, the wild yeast in your hand will get into the batter, and that helps to make the fermentation process faster. Once lightly roasted, you can either flip it over or you can serve without flipping it over. It's just a matter of personal choice. And crispy and nutrient dense Bajra Dosa is ready to serve. Let me just show you how crispy this dosa is. And serve the Bajra Dosa with the chutney. So guys, do try this healthy Bajra Dosa and let me know how it turned out. Thank you for watching, and until next time, take care. Bye bye.